Hey, my name is Samar. I also go by Sam or First Time Panner. Today's video won't be a project pan update. I wanted to do kind of like an end of the year video of all the pans that I have in my collection. Not all of these. Well, let me think. Okay, yeah, all of these except for one of these I hit pan on this year. So that's really exciting, and I kind of just, I don't know, I'll probably like end up using up some of these by like maybe I'll do an update, and definitely some of these will be completely used up. So I won't be able to do like updates on them necessarily, but I kind of just wanted to show all the pans in my collection. I don't know, I thought it'd be a fun video. And I don't know if I'll start in chronological order. I don't remember exactly the order that I hit all these pans, but maybe I do remember definitely one of these I hit pan on last year, last October. It was my first pan ever. I've finished products before, like I finished powder products that came in a pan, but they were always like hand-me-downs that like I got from my mom or someone. So I've never myself hit pan on anything before this one, which is my e.l.f. I don't even remember what this is called, so if I can find the name, I'll put it on the screen. And this is in the color light beige. I think there are only two colors at this point, and they're always sold out. I don't know why, but this is a face powder that I hit pan on last year when I went out of town. This was the only powder that I brought with me, and the pan is very shallow, so it was easy to hit pan. And then because it was the only thing that I had with me for face powder, I just kept using it and using it. Sorry. And then the pan expanded a lot actually in just that week that I had it with me. I haven't finished it yet because I have accumulated more powders since I've had this for different reasons, but definitely next year I kind of want to go back to everything that I already have pan on and try to finish up at least stuff like face powders and like face products. So this will definitely be gone soon, but this was the first pan I ever hit. I was so excited when I hit my first pan, and I do actually really love this product. It's really hard to get anymore because they don't really, it's just hard to find. It's always sold out, even though I think they do still, e.l.f. still makes this product. It doesn't have much coverage, but it's just if you want to like kind of blur and mattify a little bit, mattify your face, then it's a great powder to have. So I think as soon as I get close to finishing this up, I will try to get another one. Also, I wanted to just mention this candle that I have burning. So in, I don't know like what order I'm gonna be uploading these in, but in the last video I filmed, I said that my pumpkin candles burned for the last time, and since then I've been burning. It's from I got this at like TJ Maxx, so I don't even know the brand really, but it's called the Sutton Lodge, and the scent is Ambered Woods, and it's actually a wood wick, which I've never used before, so it's been an interesting time using it because you can't, well, at least I don't know if you can trim wood wicks. So when I first burn this for like the first 5 minutes, it's like the flame is so high because it's burning off like the used wicks. You probably don't care. Anyway.
But I really love it. Candle smells so good. It's not, it doesn't smell like a traditional fall candle that's like, so like gingerbread or pumpkin spice or anything, but it's definitely a fall candle. It kind of just has, I wouldn't say it actually smells woodsy, but it has kind of just like this autumnal scent that's really nice, and it's not too heavy, so it doesn't give me a scent headache.
That was the candle. Anyway, maybe every video I'll just talk about the candle that's burning in the background. But I'll get on to my next product, which actually has the most pans in it, and you probably know what it is if you've been following like my Instagram, and that's my Morphe, the Jaclyn Hill palette. And this was the palette that I was panning almost all of this year. I kind of stopped panning about a month ago because this will be my pan that palette for 2023. And I kind of just thought I'd give myself a break from panning it if I'm going to be using it for an entire year again. But I love this palette so much. It has so many pans in it at this point, and it has some really good dips. So by the time I do this video next, I'm sure it'll have so many other pans in it. And all the pans that I have are, I have a really big one in MFEO, which is, I use this as like a lid setting shade after I put on my primer. I have one in Pooter. That's a pretty decent pan. This is like, this is just a little bit darker than my skin tone, so it's like a really nice subtle eyeshadow if I just want something quick on my eyes, or it makes a good base if I want to do like an intricate eye look. It kind of just anchors everything, so I really like to use this one. I also have a good pan on Buns. This is probably my favorite eyeshadow in this palette. It's really pretty, and it's slightly mauve leaning. So every time, well, most of the time, as you can see from the pans that I have, when I'm doing a look, I'm doing like a cooler brown look rather than a warm look. And I mean, today, I don't know if you can tell by the lighting that I have, but I have a very warm look on my eyes. But when I use this palette, I love the cooler tone browns, and so they're always like a little bit more purple leaning. And I have a pan in what's this? SBN, which is like a pinky shimmer. I have a pan in Hustle, which is, this color is so hard to pin down. In some lights it looks silver, some it looks brown, some it looks purple. So it's actually a very cool shade to wear when you kind of just want to put something on. I have a pan in Meeks. This one is really hard to see because the there's eyeshadow on the bottom of the pan, like kind of stained there, so it doesn't really look like I have a pan, but I actually have a pretty big pan in there. I have a pan in 24/7, which was my favorite shade in here, but it kind of got hard pan and the formula had changed too, so it just got harder and harder to use it, and I don't really use it that much anymore. And then lastly, I have a pan in Diva, which is a cool tone. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is a cobalt blue, but it's a really pretty blue. The most blue I've ever worn on my eyes was from when I hit pan on this. I don't think I'll be wearing blue eyeshadow much anymore, but I do really love that color, especially for a blue. And oh, now I have eyeshadow all over me because this packaging is really gross because I've used it so much this year. And I will clean it, but I really love this palette, and even though I'm taking a break from it, I'm excited to use it again next year for the Fantastic Ladies Pan That palette. And yeah, let me see. So I currently have 8 pans on this, and we'll see how many pans I have on it next year. So I'll go back to another face powder, and I hit this pan very recently, maybe like in the first half of 2022, but I've actually had this since 2020, and this is my MAC Studio Fix Powder Plus Foundation in the shade NC42. I got this because I was on vacation and my mom accidentally knocked over my powder and it just completely shattered, and it was the only powder that I had with me, so I like went into like the nearest makeup store in the nearest mall, and this was when you couldn't really, this was when like a few months after the pandemic was declared, so you couldn't try anything on in stores. And even though I told the sales rep that I have very warm skin, he still recommended that I get a neutral cool foundation, and he was like, oh yeah, you can just return it um, after or within 30 days if the color doesn't work for you. And even though it didn't work, I just like lagged and lagged, and by the time I was going to return it, the 30 days had passed. And so I was struggling with this powder for so long. I even put it in my year-long project pan to hit pan because I just wasn't making any progress on this. I put it away after I hit pan, and then I accidentally left my makeup bag at a friend's house that had my other face powder that I'll mention later in this video. So I was like, okay, I need a face powder for every day for work. So I just took this one out, and then when I put it on my face, I guess this oxidized a lot in the few months that I wasn't using it because it actually was too dark and warm on my face rather than too light and cool. Um, so yeah, this is still a little bit difficult for me, just in kind of like the opposite direction from before. But regardless, I've been using it a lot, so the pan has expanded a lot since I first hit pan on it. And even though it is slightly too dark for me right now, I think this will be a great color for me in the summer. So I'll definitely try to finish this up next year. And it's another pan in my collection. I'll go back to eyeshadow that I have pan in. I only have pan in one pan in this palette, but it was incredibly difficult for me to hit pan in this. So this is the NYX Ultimate Edit Petite Shadow Palette in warm neutrals, and I had this in my That's So 2000s project pan. I think I rolled this in the intro, and I chose to hit pan on this shade because I thought it would be easy. Oh, it's just like a lid setting shade. That was a terrible decision because not only is this formula, it's very finely milled, so a little bit goes a long way and you only pick up a little bit on your brush at a time, but also, I don't know if you can really tell, but the pans in here are so deep. This took me months of use every time I did my eyeshadow, like powder eyeshadow, I would use this, and it took me months to use. So I'm really happy to have another pan in my collection, but this was crazy to hit pan on. I do really love this palette, so I hope I have it for a while. I've kind of had bad luck with drugstore eyeshadow, with them going bad on me like within a year of me owning them, and I've had this for a while, so about a year. So I hope this doesn't expire on me because I really like it, but I definitely won't be hitting any more pans in this palette. The last face powder that I have pan in is my L'Oreal True Match Super-Blendable powder in the shade W6 Sun Beige. Here's that pan. So I really just have product on this outer ring here. This is in my deck of panning project. I rolled it in like, oop, I dropped it, maybe 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago, I don't know, and I thought it would be so easy to finish. I thought it would just take me like 2 months, but the closer and closer this got to the edge, the harder it was to pick up the product, so I was using less and less product every day. And then I wanted to film this video like a month ago, so I stopped using it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll film the pan video. And then that video never happened because this was in the makeup bag that I left at my friend's house, and then I just never had time to film. So this has been in that project for months now, and what I'm gonna do now that I've finally finished or filmed this video, I'm gonna crush up what's left in here and put it into like a little container so I can use it that way, and finally finish this off hopefully by the end of the project, but definitely by the end of this year, because I mean, it's just time to get this out of my collection. And I also really do love this face powder. I feel like it works really well for me, but especially this time of year, like fall, when I'm starting to lose my tan, even though it's still really bright out where I live. But I really love this powder for this time of the year, and I want to get through it. And I already have a backup of it, so it's time to get this one out. My last pan is probably my proudest pan because it is a product that is very difficult to hit pan in, and that's a blush. So this is a mini Too Faced Love Flush blush in the shade Your Love is King. This is my absolute most favorite shade of powder blush, maybe even out of all of my blushes. So here's the pan. I was using it for a few days after I originally hit pan, so it's a pretty decent size, but I used this for months and months and months before I ever hit pan on this. This was in my year-long project pan just to hit pan, and it took me so long. I definitely want to finish this up, so I'll probably, spoiler, put this in another year-long project pan with a goal to finish. But I don't know if I'll have to repress it because it's already hard enough to get my brush in there, but now that it's mostly just on the sides now, it might be a little difficult. I'll have to see. I don't really want to repress it and then like ruin the formula since it is my favorite blush. I'll see what I do with it. But this is the last pan I have in my collection, and I love this so much. I was so excited when I hit pan. I remember I was on the train going to work when I saw this pan, and I was so excited. So that is the last pan that I have in my collection. Hopefully by this time of year next year, or whenever I film my next pan video, I'll have most, if not all, of these face powders out of my collection, and then I'll have some more pans in more products, and especially eyeshadows. I really need to use my eyeshadows more. But that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.